Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mini Scroll, the daily internet culture podcast bringing you the biggest stories from social media, the creator economy, and the digital space every Monday through Thursday and sometimes Fridays like today. I'm your host, Lauren Meisner, the founder of the youth digital media brand, Centennial World. Welcome back to Mini Scroll, everyone. Please, no one tell me that I look tired or sick, okay? I'm just wearing a lot less makeup than I normally wear. I don't have a winged liner on and I barely have any mascara. And whenever I don't have like a full glam, because I always do my eyes so dramatically every day, whenever I don't do that, people are like, oh my God, are you okay? I'm fine. I just could not be fucked today, okay? Okay, before I get into it, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. Please Spotify star rate us. It helps us so much. We're still trying to get to 1,000. We're almost there. So please Spotify star rate us. It's probably the thing that can help us the most right now. Buy us a coffee if you feel so inclined. Leave us an Apple review, all of that good stuff. All right, the first story that I have for you guys is I'm going to break down what's going on between CleanTok and Bradley on a budget. So, popular budgeting creator Bradley on a Budget is facing criticism from his followers after he recently exposed his living conditions. Okay, so Bradley is very divisive. This is like giving you guys the background. He's quite divisive. I actually didn't know him before this week, but what I've gathered from my research is people either love him or they hate him. He does make really valuable content and he shares a lot about his debt recovery journey. But the way that he goes about it rubs people the wrong way. A lot of people find him to be condescending and patronizing. For example, he has called people who are struggling financially brokies in the past. And he basically talks down to his followers for ever wanting to indulge themselves or treat themselves, like, going out to eat, buying yourself a coffee every once in a while out, things like that. And when he gets criticized for his delivery of his message, he basically throws like tantrums on TikTok Live, sending his followers to that person's page until they delete the video. So, anyways, he's going pretty viral right now, especially on CleanTok, because he posted a video cleaning his bathroom, which had definitely not been cleaned in a very long time. And I will put a video up on the screen, but if you guys are listening and not watching, just know this bathroom has definitely not been cleaned in like months and months and months. This is not like, we haven't cleaned this in a few weeks. Like, months and months and months and months and months. It is very dirty. In this video, he said he has 10 side hustles, so he doesn't have a lot of time to clean. And he explained how he basically remains frugal even in his hygiene routine. For example, he reuses dental floss. He has a decaying towel that is like, he called it his comfort towel or something like that he's had for like years, but it's literally like decaying. And it ripped at one point, so he just stapled it back together. He reuses the Swiffer pads instead of like when he's washing his floors, he uses a Swiffer and they're single use, but he doesn't throw them out. He just washes them in the sink. Just get a mop. That's what I'm finding weird about this. Oh, he also has like stacks of dirty paper towels. So when he washes his hands, he uses paper towel after, and there's just like stacked high in his bathroom instead of throwing them out. I don't understand why there's so much single-use stuff because he is like part of his messaging is like don't do that, like don't overconsume, and that's how you will stick to a budget. So it's very bizarre that his whole thing is, centered around that, and yet he has all this single-use stuff when it comes to cleaning. A lot of CleanTok does believe that maybe he was just never taught to clean properly. But yes, like get a mop, get some hand towels. So this is actually not the first time that Bradley has talked about hygiene and frugality. He's also apparently at one point talked about how he only showers once a week. CleanTok is now making tons of videos about this, noting that it's irresponsible to showcase this as normal living conditions just because you're so busy. Especially because one of the major points in his content is that he has $300,000 in his savings account. So if you have $300,000 in your savings account, surely you have a couple bucks to buy a hand towel. Kind of an aside, but like related to this is he's also talked about how he doesn't have health insurance. He lives in the US, and some of the criticism then has been, well, proper hygiene and cleanliness is preventative because like you won't have that safety net of 300K if you get an infection or like a serious illness because you don't have health insurance. And so, yeah, like keeping your place clean, cleaning yourself, all of that is preventative to helping you stay healthy. So with Bradley, aside from, posting this on social media and possibly, I guess, influencing people, he's not really harming anyone with this. Like, as far as we know, he lives alone, he doesn't have kids. But this conversation around Bradley is very much echoing something that was viral on the app about a year ago, which was the 17 Diapers mom. So the 17 Diapers mom, she was a creator who made a video counting how many dirty diapers were left sitting around her house after a weekend of solo parenting. And I don't mean like in the diaper bin or in the garbage. Like, these were diapers just like around her house. And there was a huge group of people who were like, this is super unsafe and unhealthy. Like, you have children that live in this house that are running around playing, existing in this house, so are you, But then there were also a big group of people saying, well, this just shows the challenges of parenthood. And there actually is like a big corner of the internet that is all about showing how filthy your home or your car has gotten and cleaning it, right? And trying to like quote unquote normalize it. But it's kind of like understanding, I guess, where the line is. Like, internet users are constantly trying to understand, like, okay, yes, like, of course, when you're going through a busy period, a turbulent time in your life, whether it's your mental health, maybe you've just become a new parent, whatever, like, things are going to fall by the wayside. Like, you're not going to be able to do the dishes every single day, probably, You're probably not going to be able to actually deep clean your bathroom once a week anymore, whatever. But the discussion then becomes like, when does it become neglectful to the people or the children that live with you and also yourself, right? So I think in some of these instances, people post content like this out of like a cry for help. Maybe they feel guilty and overwhelmed that things have gotten out of hand, especially if they have kids living in these conditions and they want like validation from people that it's okay, that it's normal, that they're doing their best type of thing. Bradley has now responded to the backlash. He made a video just a couple hours ago, so I'll play a clip.
If you scroll on here for more than 5 minutes, you probably will see multiple videos of people talking about me. Because I'm so passionate about how living frugal, having discipline, saying no to things, changing my mindset saved my life, honestly. I wanted to use the platform that I've built to help other people try to do the same. Trying to help people and teach people in the ways I wish someone did for me. I've never made a video saying, you must do exactly as I do. You must not use AC in the summertime. You must have holes in your shoes. Must eat the same meal every day to save money. I've never made a video saying that. It's about picking and choosing from my content what would work for you in your life. I don't expect people to have 8 side hustles, and it's not good enough for people. And I get nothing but judged and crucified. People literally think my apartment is a set. This is exactly why I just do not care what anyone has to say about me anymore. Whatever you want to say about me, go say it. Whatever stories you want to create in your head, whatever lies you want to make up, make them. I don't care anymore. I'm not trying to be relatable. I am trying to show you, for one, how I like to live my life because it's my page and it's my content. But I'm also trying to show people how they could turn around a bad financial situation.
But yes, in the case of Bradley, I actually don't think that this would have exploded because, again, like, he doesn't have kids living in his house. I don't think that this would have become what it did if he was more well liked or if he wasn't so like antagonizing towards people and the decisions that they make with their money. And then, he shows on the internet that he's making decisions around his living conditions that like the average person would probably not make. Because of how he delivers his messaging, people have a lot less grace for him, I think. All right, the next story that I have for you guys is that Megan Thee Stallion is allegedly suing Adin Ross. And the way that they've gone about serving him is very iconic. Allegedly. So Adin Ross says that Megan Thee Stallion's attorneys went to extreme lengths to try and serve him legal documents. They allegedly sent a mariachi band to perform outside his home. The Kick streamer claimed the group was sent to lure him outside so he could be handed court papers. He said, quote, "They called a mariachi to my house. They called a mariachi like a Mexican band to perform outside my house to make me want to come outside so they can serve me the papers." My lawyer is like, "Adin, just tell them to contact me." So me and my lawyer are hopping on a call tomorrow to figure out when I'm going to do the deposition, and I'm going to ask if I can stream it. I don't know why we need to see this streamed. We just need to keep some moments private. Do not stream your deposition. Like, you are currently allegedly being sued by a major celebrity. I know Adin Ross is really famous in his like niche, manosphere, conservative influencer, gamer, streamer corner of the internet, but like Megan Thee Stallion is an international superstar. Like, you don't need to stream that. It's like with Bradley and like 17 Diapers mom. Like, we just don't need to see it. Like, If your house gets to that place, we don't need to see that. You are opening yourself up then to way too many opinions. And like, that's never going to be good for your mental health. It's unclear why Megan Thee Stallion would be suing Adin Ross, but the main theory is that it could be over his support of Tory Lanez, who, as we know, was sentenced to 10 years in prison for shooting Megan Thee Stallion multiple times in the feet outside of a party in July 2020. In January, Adin said this on his live stream: "Free motherfucking Tory Lanez. And I will always stay with this statement. I don't give a fuck where I'm at in life. Free Tory Lanez." She, as in Megan, got caught lying. She got caught lying in 4K. She said they weren't having sex, then said they fucked a few times. She's never even shown her foot. I hope Megan Thee Stallion is suing him. I hope she's suing him. And I hope that she served him those papers with a mariachi band. All right, the last story that I have for you guys, I'm going to explain what's going on in Nepal right now with the social media ban and how that's erupted into all of these protests really being led by Gen Z. So we had a request to cover this, and I was already considering it anyways because some of the youth content coming out of Nepal, it's been all over my For You page. And I feel like it's really relevant to all the conversations that we've been having about the possible social media age restrictions that will come into play in Australia. So Nepal's prime minister has stepped down earlier this week after 2 long days of protests fueled by public outrage over government corruption and its recent ban of social media platforms. The situation began when Nepal blocked access to 26 platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, for failing to register locally as required under new rules. Authorities said the policy was designed to combat misinformation, hate speech, and online scams, and required companies to appoint local compliance officers and remove flagged content within 24 hours. TikTok and Viber complied, but others refused, prompting the ban. Frustration with government corruption was already growing online when this happened. And then users launched a campaign to, quote, name and shame the privileged children of political and business elites, which sounds very similar to what I reported on from the Philippines. I think that was like last week or the week before. The ban quickly escalated that anger, which led to young Nepalis, many of who depend on social media for income, to organize peaceful protests in Kathmandu and nearby areas. On September 8th, the police used tear gas and rubber bullets on the crowds of peaceful demonstrators, and chaos ensued. This is from the BBC. Quote, "Anti-corruption protests escalated in Nepal's capital city, Kathmandu, today as government buildings were set ablaze. The unrest was sparked by a social media ban, which has now been reversed by the government. It has now grown into a wider anti-corruption movement that took to the streets on Monday. In total, at least 22 people have been killed in the protests and dozens more injured." As protests raged, Nepal's prime minister resigned from his post. So Nepali creators generate more than 3.5 billion rupees annually through platforms like YouTube and TikTok. And the prime minister basically dismissed these concerns, saying national sovereignty mattered more than, quote, a handful of people losing income. So now if you look this up on TikTok, you will see tons of videos of young people in Nepal, like Gen Z, doing literal trends, like TikTok trends, outside of these burning buildings. It's so Gen Z. It is so Gen Z. So this is not, just happening in Nepal. It's not just happening in the Philippines with the Nepo baby stuff. This is from The Conversation. Quote, "The protests in Nepal mirror similar movements led recently by young people elsewhere in Asia, especially Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Indonesia. Like Bangladesh in 2024, the young protesters in Nepal were frustrated with corruption and joblessness. Similar to Sri Lanka's movement in 2022, Nepal's protesters fought against inequality and nepotism, resulting in the collapse of the government. And in Indonesia's student protests in recent weeks, the Nepali protesters relied on memes, hashtags, and digital networks rather than party machines to organize." I feel like this really just exemplifies what we have been saying about Gen Z for so many years, is that they are such a socially and politically active generation. And I think sometimes, especially in the West, like that can feel confined to social media. It can feel almost performative because it feels confined to social media. And this is very much demonstrating at least examples across Asia where that's not the case. All right, guys. Well, that's it for Mini Scroll today. Thank you so much for listening. I love you guys. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. Spotify star rate us, please, over the weekend. And I will talk to you on Monday. Bye.